Hello, everyone! Blue Star Saber here once again to discuss Star Wars The Bad Batch, Episode 13 Infested. I'm a bit late on this one, and in fact, it's very late in the morning here, but I figured I'd get this done before the latest episode comes out. So, yeah. Anyway, so the episode starts off with the Bad Batch completing another mission, or we're walking back to on Ord Mantell after completing a mission, with Echo complaining about the Gondoks from the last mission. Attack points out that, let's see, this is a recurring thing with Sid not telling him about stuff. However, as they arrive at her pub, or inn, if you will, there are these armored figures all over the place. And then there's also a bunch of pikes there, for those who remember the crime syndicate one of the crime syndicates that ended up teaming up with Maul, and they even appeared in Solo a bit. Well, they seem to be the ones without the mouths, or at least they're wearing masks. I don't know. I can never really quite figure out the biology of the pikes, but but yeah, end up walking out of Sid's office. So the Bad Batch, let's see, barge their way in to meet a Devon by the name of Roland Duvan. Those horn creatures, though. They're usually red, though. This one's a bit yellowy green. Let's see, green? Yeah, it's green. From what I'm looking at there. Let's see. And apparently he's a part of the Doolan crime family, and he seems to have replaced Sid. As he took over Sid's bar, and also, fun enough, a former client of Sid's, as we see the former pet, the lizard pet that the Bad Batch took care of a few episodes. Ruby is back as as Omega noticed. Let's see, he offers them work, though the Bad Batch said they'll think about it. However, let's see, with Tech speculating that she's either being forced out or terminated. Let's see, Hunter decides that they need to leave Ord Mantell as he concludes it's no longer safe there, particularly for Omega. However, Omega wants to check on Sid and see if she's alright. However, Sid reveals that she's fine on that stuff, though making sarcastic remarks about how at least one of them cares about her. And she explains that Roland is the son of Issa Durand, a sort of like a female crime boss of the Durand crime family. Apparently, Roland here is trying to make a big name of himself by making a deal with the Pikes for spice trade and all that stuff, and that's why he's taken over her inn, for the middle of Old Mantell for all the spice trade things and that stuff. And she asks the Bad Batch to get him back. Hunter is at first reluctant until she threatens them that she could always spill her what she knows, with Tech finally pointing out that, yeah, I believe she's threatening us, what she said, with her sarcastic, "Oh, you're the smart guy, then." So her plan is to sneak into the tunnels that are connected to her inn, steal the spice, and then have the Pikes, which results in the Pikes getting mad and Roland, and they deal with him and all that stuff. So they go in these carts, though they must make. No, she tells the tag not to make noise as they do it manually, and revealed that and then they go through the tunnels. There's an infestation of some bugs. Of these are preto creatures, I believe they're called. Let's see. A nocturnal insects that inhabit the pretty Old Mantell thing, and they're called the Illing. They kind of look like, I suppose you could say, they seem to be a hive species like the Geonosians, I guess, though a lot less intelligent. But anyway, as they grow through the thing in the tunnels, Wrecker drops his torch, doesn't wake them up. However, they eventually get into Sid's office, though, to make sure that Roland doesn't suspect anything. Sid has gotten her two regulars, Ketch and Barlow, to kidnap Ruby, using the Old Mantell popcorn snack like thing to drag him away and capture, with Roland and his guards distracted, trying to find Ruby. The Bad Batch sneak away Spice, though. The two regulars don't keep them distracted for long, as Barlow gets bitten by Ruby when trying to feed her. I forgot the. Let's see. Let me just check the gender of Ruby. Let's see. Ruby is a female. Female. All right. Let's see. So yeah. Let's see. So with like the cage broken that they caught her in. Let's see. Ruby is reunited with Roland, and he sends a few men after her, like her kidnappers, and he returns to the office. The Bad Batch get out in time and lock it, which results in him, let's see, Roland blasting his way and noticing that seeing the spices gone, and realize that the Bad Batch have taken it under the tunnels. Sends his men down sends quite a handful of his men down to get it, which he calls a bit of a skirmish with the Bad Batch and Roland's men shooting at each other. Unfortunately, this causes enough noise for the Erland to fully be awakened, and they all swarm and hive around. And let's see, they take the spice, or the Bad Batch forcing to dump it, while Roland's men end up being captured and dragged away by the creatures. I have to admit, there's quite a few brutal deaths with the Earlings, but yeah, they've been dragged away and all that stuff. But yeah, anyway, the Bad Batch dumped the spice and managed to escape out. But however, let's see, Ketch and Bolo have been captured, and they have spilled the beans that it was Sid that was behind everything. Let's see, so just before the interrogation can continue about where they've gone, the Pikes show up demanding the spice. Roland tries to say that they'll get them money and all that stuff, but tells them to give him more time. However, the Pikes are not a patient lot, saying that tell them to give it now, and it looks like a skirmish is about to happen between the two groups. With Sid congratulating the Bad Batch and herself about a job well done. This is bound to get Roland out, and just as they enter the cavern, they see all the guards have been killed. However, the Pikes have not yet left the thing, and Roland rats them out as the ones that have taken the spice. The Pikes demand the spice, though Sid tries to explain they don't have it. So they end up taking Omega hostage and say if they don't get the spice back, her and the Bad Batch and let's see, Sid will all die and all that stuff. Before Sid is able to calm the Bad Batch from turning this into an escalation fight because well they're the Pikes. So the Bad Batch and her have gone to get like the spice back, with Sid commenting that it's her fault that let's see, sort of leading this because let's see, she also feels partly guilty about let's see Omega being caught. So she has her and Wrecker let's see go down with the grappling links on the Bad Batch's ship to recover the spice caught in all the cobwebs and all that stuff. Since Wrecker's probably the strongest of the bunch. During this, Tech is building a device or bomb sort of thing, a flash bomb that can be used against the Irelings, as he ends up explaining what they are to the group and all that stuff. Meanwhile, Roland and Omega are being held as hostages, with Roland blaming the Bad Batch for the situation, with Omega pointing out that he she took over Sid's bar, resulting in her trying to get him out and all that stuff, and this is why they're in their current predicament. And you get like Roland commenting about how his mother would probably be disappointed in him right now. But yeah. And then they get Ruby going to Omega to be petted and all that stuff, with Roland commenting that Ruby doesn't tend to like many people. So anyway, let's see. Sid and Wrecker have recovered the remaining spice. They just got the last bits of it, and they end up going up. However, due to Wrecker squirming, Sid gets a bit distracted and ends up knocking one of the previous crates that comes crashing down, with a Erling coming up to try and kill. Grab Wrecker and Sid. Though Tech's flash bomb, he launches it down and it scares all the creatures away. Let's see, with the spice recovered, Omega is free, and let's see, the Pikes let go of their issues with the Bad Batch and Sid. However, they're not quite finished with let's see, Roland, and Omega tries to plead for his life, saying it's not his fault, he just made a mess up, and Sid tries to say that killing him will cause a gang war with the Devonian with the Durand crime family, and it's not really in the Pike's best interest, and just can do a bad deal to take as a bad deal. However, the Pikes do not take bad deals, and so they cut off one of his horns as a way of payback and all that stuff, and say that their business is now done with Roland, and tells them never to be unwise for them to cross paths again. Roland is not entirely happy, though he must admit losing a horn is a small price to pay. Let's see, compared to what else could happen, so he takes Ruby and leaves. Let's see, Sid decides to offer the Bad Batch some celebration drinks, though only on the first round, with the episode ending of Hunter asking why Omega to try to defend Roland, despite what kind of person he is. Omega says that that since Ruby likes him, he can't be all bad, and that's the end of the episode. Okay, after the last two-part very heavy plot episodes of like the Ryloth Rebellion, we've gone back to a bit of filler with like Sid, and the Bad Batch just trying to things. So I suppose it can be a little bit disappointing compared to the last two episodes, which are really great. But however, there's some fun to be had, particularly the fact that we end up seeing the Pikes. Getting the Pikes involved in this, and so yeah, the creature, the crime syndicate that was introduced during the Shadow Collective arc with the Darth Maul and Death Watch, and have also been Solo. So yeah, it's nice to see them again and to show us that. And this episode kind of builds up a bit of like hype about why these guys are threatening and all that stuff, as we see them off screen. They easily take care of like Roland's guards and all that stuff, and have them hostage. And with Sid saying, "These are guys you don't want to mess with when they're going to the Bad Batch." So yeah. Anyway, speaking of which, I do like the fact that let's see. Due to this episode, we end up learning one of Sid's former clients double crossing them. And we get a bit of a reference to like the gun docs from the Bad Batch with Echo complaining. But yeah. So we end up learning a bit about a Deurian crime family called the Durand from all that stuff, and they seem to be a bit of a major one, at least, because even though the Pikes threatened to kill Roland and his family, it still caused a bit of a gang war that isn't really in the Pikes' best interests, according to Sid. So yeah, but interesting to see that he tries to making this person who double crosses Sid, trying to make a big name for himself. By trying to do spice deals with the Hutt. The Pikes. Granted, he offers the Bad Batch. He's willing to offer the Bad Batch work, and he does seem to have a particular fondness for Ruby, which makes Omega think he can't be all bad by the end of it. And it's clear from when he gets captured by the Pikes and all that stuff, how he seems to trying to really make a name for himself, and seems how disappointed his mother would be. He did get off easy with like the whole cut on the horn thing, which I suppose they're never really going to have him decapitated on a show that's probably aimed for kids, really. But still, it's very interesting to see that it seems that it's got to be some like loss of shame for the Deruvians of losing one of their horns, though. Who knows? Deruvians never really get much centerpiece focus. Well, granted, the Bad Batch did have a Deruvian antagonist in the first season, though that was more of a minor muscle-bound villain kind of thing. It does look like the Deruvians are immune to fire, at least, but given how Mando ended up fighting them, one last episode for that first season, but yeah. Anyway, I like how the growing relationship of Omega and Sid here, as from like the last episode when she was left behind to be watched over by Sid, with Omega kind of pointing out that Sid has helped them out, with Sid also thanking Omega's opinion. Oh, granted, I do like how she threatens the Bad Batch about, hey, I will spill the beans on you. And I do like how she's being sarcastic whenever Tech points out the information of, like, I believe she's threatening us, or going like stuff like that. So, yeah. However, I do like that she does care for Omega and is willing to put herself on the line for her when recovering the spice from, like, the Erlings and all that stuff, showing that she's grown quite fond of the kid. Hopefully, when the Bad Batch have to deal with probably Crosshair in the final, or if the Crosshair finally comes to Ord Mantell, which I assume he will. Sid will not rat them out to, like, hurt them and all that stuff. But yeah. So yeah, and I do like that Sid also, despite the fact that Roland tried to double cross him, took over in, she did try to help Ruby Omega, saying that this is not to kill Roland, as it would end up being causing a gang war with the Durland family and all that stuff. I do like how the Bad Batch, particularly Hunter, at first is a bit reluctant to try and help Sid, and wants just to keep his squad safe when trying to get leave on Mantell, but of course stays. And gets a bit curious about why Omega tried to save Roland from the Pikes, though I think he is fine with the answer and that stuff. I mean, he is still in the mindset of looking out for his squad, but yeah. But of course, when asked to help others, he will do it, even if it's being threatened a bit, particularly because Omega tries to convince them and all that stuff. But of course, it's Sid. Anyway, I do like how Ketch and Bolo have a certain sense of loyalty to Sid, of trying to help her get back in, but not enough to spill the beans when they get caught. So yeah, those two are like a funny duo, but yeah. So there's that. Anyway. And here we get introduced. Another thing of note that I'd liked is, like, the introduction of these petro creatures, the Erling, these nocturnal bugs, who kind of remind me of the Geonosians. I wonder if there's a connection between the two, but these lot seem a lot more primitive and a lot more beast-like, maybe, but who knows, I could be just overthinking a bit too much. I mean, let's see, granted, so because these lot are not as advanced or smart, they're non-sentient from the looks of things, so they're not like sentient like Geonosians, where you do get some individual thinking, but yeah. So yeah, they're quite pretty threatening, particularly when they swarm and hive you, which the Bad Batch have trouble dealing with them, and even when they're shooting them. And I do like how, and to show how threatening they are, they're able to drag away like Roland's like armored men. Which, by the way, I like the design of these creatures. Though, granted, I thought they were pike men for this time being, but no, I don't know. But these security armors do kind of remind me of the new Mandalorian police force at the time. But yeah, but these creatures are like weak to the light and all that stuff, particularly with the torches. But yeah. But I have to admit, there's quite a few brutal deaths for these creatures, probably because of the bugs, really. But yeah, but you can see like the green blood in around. When some of the Bad Batch, when they're squashing or shooting them, and some of them had some quite gruesome deaths, being like shot in the face, or even had their heads crushed in the door when the Bad Batch were trying to escape. I must admit, when it came to the end of like I have to admit, by the end of the episode, when Sid and Wrecker were surrounded with Tech, though, it's a bit anticlimactic with him just dropping a flash bomb. It was quite easy to like get out of the situation, and he didn't struggle to fix the bomb on time and all that stuff. But still, I do like Tech was able to do his research and figure out how to beat these guys. So there's that. Overall, I give this episode a 7 out of 10, or 7.5. It's a filler episode after the last two very plot-centered, Ryloth Rebellion episodes, but I do like how I do like the growing relationship between the Bad Batch and Sid, particularly Omega and Sid, with Omega willing to help with the Sid straight away, though. With the though with though you do see how she warms up to them by offering drinks by the end, though not cheap enough to pay for more than just the first servings. I do. Let's see. I do know that, of course, Hunter would put the squad before her first, though she's like using, like, I know some information on you, so there's that. We end up learning about a Devron crime family. Let's see, with the Durans and someone called Issa. I wonder if we will see her in the future, though who knows. Nice seeing the Pikes again, and of course, they are all about the spice, but yeah. So, yeah. Overall, I'm hoping that the next 3 episodes will be much more, let's see, Crosshair, Camnon, and heavy plot centric, because those 3 episodes will probably lead up to the final, or at least the next one. I know that the next episode is called War Mantle. I'm not sure what. I'm trying to find if there's an official description for this episode on the Wikipedia. Nothing really up on there, but so I assume it's going to be some sort of like witty conflict episode, possibly with Crosshair. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this episode. That's all I have to say. I'm Blue Star Saber, signing off. May the Force be with you.